on, guys? Name's Sergeant Hawkins. I'm gonna be helping out with doing some of these training videos with you guys. Here you go. Series 1 is gonna be the MDT that we're dealing with. We'll have some more coming down the line, but the MDT is a very important tool slash resource that we use as police officers in our everyday lives. So your default keybind for the MDT is the equals button, or at least it was for me. It could be different for you guys. So in order to find that, you can just press the escape muscle, go into settings, go to key bindings, FiveM, and this is where you're going to find pretty much every custom keybind that any sort of script is added in. Anyway, so you just go in, you'll find the MDT, change that keybind for you, and then hit that keybind, and then all of this stuff will pop up. Now you've got dashboard, citizen lookup, vehicle lookup, incidents, reports, map, etc., etc. You can see them on the left. Now, dashboard is where you can find just things that we've posted, like the bulletin board here about OISs and things like that. On the right is going to be your active units. Citizen lookup is going to be where you put any sort of person's name in and run them through the system and be able to find their information. Just for an example slash reference, I have just put my name, and then you can see like my DNA and my fingerprints if they have them in the system, and you can see whatever license I have and if they have something in their gallery so other people can see and things like that. And then like a little picture. Vehicle lookup, same thing with the vehicle. If you have a name or a license plate or anything like that, you go to this section and you can run that license plate and it'll pop up who owns that vehicle or what vehicle that is when you guys are potentially chasing after a suspect and they get away, things like that, and you have their plate. Incidents is going to be your bread and butter. It's where most of your stuff is going to come in. So it's where you're going to make your arrests and things like that. So if you just hit this top button here, plus, that's how you can make a new incident. And here the title is going to be always going to be the same. I'm going to just do it again. It's going to be name, charge, and then the date. The date will automatically change with you, whatever day it is. And so you're just going to put whoever you're charging and then what charges they're getting. If there's multiple charges, I usually just put multiple, and then they can have the list of charges where they need to. And so officers involved, again, you're going to put your name and or any other officers involved in the scene there. Civilians involved, if there's any civilians that were there and they were involved, you're going to put them there. Now anybody you're arresting or anything like that, you're going to do criminals involved. So when you do criminals involved, let's say in another life I'm a criminal and I decided to steal a car and things like that and joyride it. So you're going to put their name in, go down here, and then right click below to add and or modify charges. But this will have a list of all of the charges, and I'm going to jail for Grand Theft Auto, right? So you can use the search bar at the top, find Grand Theft Auto, search it up, do whatever you guys need to, however you guys want to. And then at the bottom, it's going to be the recommended time and the fine. Sorry, fine and then time. And then down here is where you're going to put your fine and time. So now with fine, you don't change anything, but with time, that's the one you can be a little more lenient on. And then you can also put the fine in the sentence here. Well, and then we'll get more into kind of like what you do in the MDT itself with the report summary and things like that when we get to the processing section of the training videos. For now, let's just move on. So we got reports. This is where you're going to do like 1013s or like witness statements or anything like that. You know, pull up to a home intrusion scene, you don't find anybody, but you find their fingerprints. This is where you're going to put a report. Your OISs are also going to be a report. So every time you guys shoot a weapon or anything like that, it's going to go inside of this and you're going to make a report about it. That way the supervisor plus can take a look at the report and do what they need to with that and get back to you. You know, if it's cleared or if it's not cleared or whatever. Now you also have the map. You can take a look at the map here. There's nothing much to it. It's literally just the map of the thing, and this is mainly for dispatch. For when they get going and stuff, they'll be able to move people and do all that for them. Bolos is where you're gonna be. Bolo stands for be on the lookout. This is for like mainly for like the 1080s and stuff. If you happen to lose a suspect, or if you find a car that was on scene or something and not them or anything like that, you can place a title of like why what the bolo is, and like suspect was in a 1080 or something like that, and so you just put a title, put the plate number of the plate that you got, who owns that vehicle, and the individual. If you know who the individual is the vehicle isn't reported stolen or anything like that, then most likely it's going to be the owner of the vehicle, but you won't know until you can get that vehicle back, and then you can go into the vehicle and you can actually get fingerprints and things like that and see if it comes back to anybody. Here, same thing. You have it also officers involved. Any pictures you've taken, you can put them in the gallery, and any tags. So now next is going to be the roster. There's nothing on the actual roster. That's for something else. And next is going to be the firearm registry. So people can come up to you and register a firearm with you for any rank. They can do that. Gun licenses are going to be different ranks and things like that. But you can make a new one, put their serial number, who it's registered to, what model of the weapon, and what class of the weapon. And then the camera network, we have multiple different cameras in a bunch of different places. A lot of them are going to be in the stores, and so you can access any of the cameras, which at the moment they do not work right now. Then here's the logs. You can just check in here. You can check like who has the most hours, for you competitive guys who want the most hours and do all the stuff like that. But other than that, that is all I got for you guys. They will explain more on some of the MDT later on, like I said, in the processing section. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys, and there's going to be more training videos coming you guys' way. Hey guys, again, this is Sergeant Hawkins. Alright, so we're going to get started with the second video, which is going to be the vehicle radar. So, I have a guy here in my vehicle, as you obviously will need a vehicle for your vehicle radar. So again, that for me, the default keybind for the vehicle radar is going to be the F5 muscle. But it could, like I said, it could be different for you guys from the last video. And again, if you don't know, if you didn't look at the last video, if you just go into your settings, go over to key bindings, go all the way down to FiveM, and you just go in here and you'll just look for your keybind for the vehicle radar. Now it should say vehicle radar and all that. Again, you can always ask your FTO or any other officer that's near you to find that keybind or what it would be called or anything like that. Right here, it's going to be the WK_Wars2X, which is going to be the remote control. That is the radar system and binds F5. So anyway, once you get your keybind set up, you just hit that keybind and this will pop up. First, you've got toggle display. You got your front antenna, your rear antenna, and then you've got op, XMIT, hold, same. You got your menu, plate reader, help, and any sort of UI settings. So in order to get that radar going, you're just going to hit toggle display. And then after that, there's going to be the green power button all the way down there on the radar. You just got to make sure you hit that power button, and when it pops up, it'll say hold for both of them. Then you go back, open up your plate reader, and this is where another quick way you can set a bolo plate or clear a bolo plate. But you just toggle that display as well, and these are movable. Once you are in the remote, you can sit here and you can just move them around wherever you want them. But I keep mine at the bottom right. I know some people do a little differently and things like that. But once that's done, you'll just hit your XMIT hold up and then XMIT again to take hold off, and now they'll be ready to go. And then it's to opposite and same, and so it's going to set which side of the vehicle the radar is going to be used. So for the front antenna, I always do opposite, and then the rear antenna I do same. There are multiple other things you could do, like when I'm running radar on the Los Santos freeway, I always do opposite and opposite because I'm looking for vehicles to my left of where I sit. Or if I'm running radar somewhere else and I'm on the other side and I'm looking for vehicles on the right, then you'll just do same, because same is on the right side of the vehicle while opposite is on the left side of the vehicle. But I just keep mine opposite and same when I'm just regularly patrolling and all that. And there's many other options you've got. You've hit this menu here, and on the bottom you see that it says fast on. You can keep going, and you've got other sections here. You can change anything, like you can make your the beep sound. You can change that, or like there's a voice that'll say like front closing or front rear or anything like that. You can turn that voice down if you don't want it. And then you got more plate audio for when you're locking plates and stuff like that. You have units. That's going to be the units of speed for the patrol, and then ours is set to USA automatically. So it'll be miles per hour, not kilometers. And here is the important one. It's called fast lock. When it's your first time opening up the radar, you want to turn fast lock on. And what fast lock on will do is it'll automatically flag the speed that the radar has caught somebody going. In order to set the speed you want it to clock, you just hit menu one more time, then open up the fast speed section, and at the bottom right it'll say fast speed, and then what patrol speed you have it set to. For me, I've got it set to 65, which is 30 miles over the posted speed limit most of the time. And so I always set that to 65. You can set that a little higher, wherever you want to set it, usually as long as it's about roughly, like I said, I usually set mine about 30 miles over. It's usually a good rule of thumb. And then you have fast on again, which will bring you just back to the main menu. And then after that, you can just close out of it, and then it will go back to being a normal radar. Now, in order to, say, lock a speed limit or the radar or the plates, I mean, anything like that, they're going to be your numpad muscles. So numpad 8 and 5 is going to be the speed, but number 8 is going to be the front antenna, while numpad 5 is going to be the rear antenna. Numpad 9 is going to lock the front plate. So if you're chasing somebody or you're in a 10-11, you always want to make sure you want to lock the plate, just in case if they decide to take off or anything like that. While numpad 6 is, if I had a plate behind me as well, it would lock that plate that I clocked behind me. And to unlock them, you just hit that button again for all of them, and it will unlock them for you. But this one was a quick one. There's really not much to the vehicle radar. But we will be moving on to video number 3 here pretty soon. But other than that, that is all I got for you guys. Hello everybody, Sergeant Hawkins with another training video for you guys. So we're going to be going with the third one, which is pitting. Pit maneuvers are used when we are trying to disable a vehicle or apprehend a suspect and stop their vehicle from going any further in a police chase or anything like that. So first things first is, barring the SOPs, you must request permission to pit somebody from a supervisor plus during the 1080 or anything else. And when you pit them, it has to have clear traffic, clear weather, and the speeds must be under 80 miles an hour. So in order to perform a pit maneuver, me personally, I like to perform my pit maneuvers on the right side of the vehicle, as a lot of times they're going to be on the right side of the road. So if you pit them on the right side, their car is going to be going towards a wall or a barrier or anything like that, and not in the middle of the road or into some other car or anything like that. But basically, in order to do a pit, you must have a light bar. Sorry, not light bar, a ram bar. You must have a ram bar on your vehicle. All vehicles come with a ram bar unless it is a heat vehicle. So today I just have my vehicle, this supervisor vehicle here, and then I just have another vehicle that I've pulled out. We show you guys pretty much how a pit maneuver would go. But like I said, as long as the weather is clear, the traffic's clear, and they are under 80 miles an hour, and you've received permission from a supervisor plus in the chase, and you're going into the actual pit itself, you're going to maneuver your car to where their back tire is. That's where you're going to get most of the leverage for you to move their vehicle out of the way. You're going to come at an angle like this, and you're just going to literally just ram into them lightly. You don't want to accidentally ram them. Ramming is not good. We want to specifically have a pit. Ramming could, like this is, if you're doing a pit right here, this is ramming. Or if you're just hitting the back of their vehicle, that's ramming. No, you always want to have your vehicle pretty much get up right next to them, touch their side, and nudge their car. Just like that. And pit maneuver. But other than that, that's all it is. If you guys got any more questions, ask your FTOs or any other officer that's near you guys, and they can help you guys out, because they should know how to be doing a pit, as obviously we are training you guys for that and during your cadet phase or anything like that. Other than that, that's all I got for you for this training video. Hey guys, Sergeant Hawkins here with another training video for you guys. So, today we're going to be going through the uses of force. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you guys the level of force that I'll be going over in this section. So basically the very first level of use of force is going to be level 1, which is compliant. So basically, as stated in our SOPs, level 1 is compliant and will be the default level of force for most situations. The mere presence of officers has a large impact on actions of civilians in the area. This level does not require any physical force and will include verbal requests like, "May I see your license?" So, as it's given its own example in the use of force there, we're just going to be doing a 1011 real quick. It's just basic so you guys can see what level 1 use of force is. So I've got here Sergeant Williams helping out today, so I'm just going to be performing a 1011 on Sergeant Williams, and I'm just going to be asking about, "Can I see your license?" and that'll be it. Hey, how you doing today? Name's Sergeant Hawkins with the LSPD. I pulled you over for running that red light back there. You got any license and registration for me?
I sure do, officer.
Alright, thank you. Alright, and that is quite literally the use of force of level 1. It is the most basic, most common used use of force, as it is the default of we use for all these guys. In this one, we're talking about level 2, which is going to be the passive resistance. So, passive resistance states for the level 2 is going to be for when there is a reluctance to comply with orders from officers, but there is no active or violent resistance. This level of force can be met with verbal commands with a firm but non-assaultive tone. Commands should remain short and clear until compliance is obtained. So again, we could also apply this in a 1011. I'm going to ask Sergeant Williams here to step out of their vehicle. She's going to ask why, and then I'm going to be firm but non-assaultive or anything like that with my tone. I'm just going to ask her to step out of the vehicle one more time, and then that's when they would be complying or anything like that. There is a little bit of reluctance, but it's still met. So let's go up there, have a little chat, and have them step out of the vehicle. Alrighty, so I just run your license plate. It looks like it's going to be a stolen vehicle. Would you mind stepping out of the vehicle for me?
Why would I do that?
Well, because today I'm going to give you a lawful order of stepping out of the vehicle for me. Alrighty. And that would be the level 2 use of force. Level 3, active non-violent resistance. So what that states in our SOPs again is active non-violent resistance and relates to the use of empty hand techniques with soft and hard techniques. So soft techniques involve restraining an individual with open hands or handcuffs. Hard techniques have a potential of causing bodily harm and should be used sparingly, such as tackling a fleeing suspect. So soft hand techniques is going to be, like it says, to restrain individuals. So Sergeant Williams here, the example of that would be just detaining them or restraining them in any way, ask them questions, things like that. And then the hard techniques, which is going to be tackling, is we're just going to uncuff them. Sergeant Williams is going to run. We're going to tackle them to demonstrate the hard techniques of tackling. And again, the tackling can cause bodily harm. So there, Sergeant Williams is just going to run for a little bit. We're going to be chasing after them, all that. And then once we get up to them, we will tackle them like so. You're going go to jail. And at that point, you can use your soft techniques again to restrain the individual and arrest them, do whatever you guys need to do that warrants a situation of this type. Alright, so on to level 4 use of force, which is the assault section. So level 4 states that for when a suspect is attempting to and or successfully doing bodily harm to an officer or member of the public, and allows for use of defensive or less than lethal techniques. Less than lethal relates to equipment that is not lethal force but has the potential to cause severe bodily harm or death if misused or excessively used. Less than lethal equipment includes tasers and batons. So Sergeant Williams here is going to run at me with a baton, and I'm going to it is assumed that she is going to cause bodily harm, so I'm going to use my taser against Sergeant Williams to neutralize Sergeant Williams, and that way we can move on to level 3, where we use the cuffs to restrain Sergeant Williams. Go and put your hands up for me. Face away. Alright, and so level use of force allowed me to, as I can see, the Sergeant Williams was trying to use any sort of bodily harm with that baton running at me like that. So we used a taser to neutralize Sergeant Williams and place them under arrest. Alright, so level 5 use of force, which is going to be the lethal use of force. So if they have a weapon or anything like that, you are going to match their level of use of force, or even you have the authority to utilize a level force one step above what the threat on any particular scene is. Bats and blood objects have the capacity to cause serious bodily harm and death, and can be met with lethal force only if there is no chance to attempt to use less than lethal equipment. Alright, go ahead and put your hands up there. Alright, and like I said, no ammo in our weapons, safety's on, fingers are not even close to the trigger. They pointed the weapon at me. I'm going to, and they say they shot a few rounds at me. I'm going to fire back at them with a level 5 use of force. If you guys have any questions on any of these use of force continuums, please ask your FTO officer or any other officer that's near you guys and help out with other things. Going guys, Sergeant Hawkins with the 4th video now, which is processing. So processing is obviously when you've got your criminal in custody and you're now going to go through, get his fingerprints, DNA, all that stuff for him, and you're going to put it into the MDT, and this is where we'll go further in depth for the MDT. So now you've got your suspect here. You're going to third eye him, and you'll see the option to handcuff. Alright, so now that you handcuffed your suspect, you can third eye him again and escort him. And so you have him escorted and you've brought him down to whatever station is closest to you. And then let's say the cadet Sly here, he's got nothing on his record. He's not in the system or anything yet. So you're just going to bring him down to whatever station. You are going to go in. Set that fingerprint up. If you go ahead and just hit that for me. You're going to have them set up their fingerprint, and you're going to hit G on your fingerprint scanner. Thank you. And then their fingerprint, once they put their finger on it, will pop up their fingerprint, and that's where you put it in the MDT. Once you get done with that, I'm going to take your mugshot today. Go ahead and just face up against that wall and face me. And then after that, you can use your camera or whatever you got. Use a external software to take a picture of them and take that mugshot. And you can also put that in the MDT. Once you've done all that, you can just escort them back to the cells, whichever one. All that stuff, and then you can just put them in the cells. Before you put them in the cells, you're gonna ask them if that's gonna, if you got anything that's gonna poke me, stick me, or prod me. Before you always want to do one last search before you uncuff them and put them in the cells. All right, man, you got anything that's gonna poke me, stick me, or stab me?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then you can carefully go into their pockets, find all the stuff that's in their pockets, and then you're just gonna let them go. Alrighty, you got nothing in there. They're taking all your illegals off you. Come to these cells, face away from me, and I can take those cuffs off you.
Thank you.
Alright, so, of course, like I said, you're going to put them up against the cells, face them away so you can get those cuffs off of them. At that point, you're going to open up your MDT, like we discussed in the last video. And then you are going to make a whole new port, put their name. This guy, again, he got Grand Theft Auto. So you're going to put his name in, all that, go into the criminals. I'm just going to use my name as a reference for this. But say that's the suspect you've got. You've got him going for Grand Theft Auto, all that. Give him his time, his fine, all that. And so it's recommended time of 900 or fine of 900 and the time of 15 months. All right, my man, today I'm going to get you for Grand Theft Auto. Your recommended time is going to be 15 months, and it's going to be a $900 fine.
Oh.
So
Sounds
now,
alright.
alrighty. So what I'm gonna do is, the time is such low, I'm just gonna have you wait here for now, and that way you're not gonna have to send you all the way up to Bolingbrook. I know going all the way up to Bolingbrook is kind of insane, and then coming back down to the city. So you can do, on lower fines like that, you can always do time served. You can pretty much write your report and then let them go afterwards. It give them time. But you're always going to ask them what the, I'm not actually going to fine you, but what's that lucky number for you today? You're going to ask them for their fine, or their lucky number.
Lucky number is 57, sir.
And so you're going to think about /poll charge, and a little menu will pop up. Then you're going to find their ID for them and give them that $900 fine, or whatever fine it would normally be. And then as long as none of the other officers are nearby, you'll think about /jail, and then the time that they are in jail. But like I said, he's going to do time served in the cells, so we're not actually going to send anybody off, because obviously he didn't do anything wrong, so we're not going to send him to jail. But other than that, just going to hit your key again and go to your summary, and you're going to write pretty much a brief summary of what happened. So I like to at least write a paragraph, but obviously some things just you won't have enough detail, or like there's not enough. Like earlier today we had a guy turn himself in, and so there's not a whole lot to be said there. You know, he came in. If there was a report made about it, then we can add on to the report that they turned themselves in. But if there was no report made on the suspect, then you can put just like they came in, turned themselves in, what charges they turned themselves in on, and things like that. Sometimes it could be 1 or 2 sentences, and that's literally all you need for it. But basically, you start out with, you can use other people's reports as a template, kind of see how other people do them. A lot of people do things a little differently. But mainly they all follow the same template of the summary, the hostage evidence, and what was confiscated in their time and fine. So basically, you're just gonna say that you're gonna put your call sign. So I'd be 1 Alpha 77, Jeremy Hawkins. Responded to a car theft, and so on, etc., and that we found this suspect breaking into the car, and then he fled from us in a 1080. We eventually caught him. Things like that. You want to do a brief summary of what happened in the events leading up to the arrest, and then if they had any hostages, of course, hostages will go there. The evidence location, what stash drawer, what was confiscated, and all that. All right, thanks, man. You're all set.
Leave him in there.
Thank you. I'm not the police.
Yo, but I'm gonna come all the way over to, again, the station's evidence system. Wherever they have their evidence stashed. Here we are at Davis, so their evidence is gonna be back here, and you'll see the locker numbers. So you just find whichever locker number, which right now they have 1. And you're just gonna, whatever slide. So I like to do is the report ID. So this one by Barrett is gonna be 6461. So you just say you're gonna be like locker number 5, shelf 6561. Go in. Obviously, you're not gonna find anything in here because you didn't process them at Davis, but that's how I do my reports and where the evidence would go. And other than that, if you guys have any more questions, again, ask your FTO or any other officers around you guys, and they are more than happy to help you guys out. All that. But this is just a brief overview of how basic processing would work. There's a little bit more in depth. Sometimes little weird things happen, but you guys won't have to worry about that. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Sergeant McDaniels here. Today we're going to talk about the Lidar. So to use your Lidar, first you want to put it in your hotbar, then you'll use your hotkey and you'll pull it out. If you flex your period muscle, that'll bring up the unit head there, and you'll be able to see it. You can see it's doing the self-test currently. When that is completed, you'll get the mile per hour and how many feet. So what you want to do, you can hit your right mouse button and it'll aim the LiDAR gun. And then you'll hold down your left mouse button as you're pointing at a car and you'll get your speed readings. When you let go of the left mouse button, then you'll be able to lock in that speed. So let's see if we can get a car here. This guy is barely moving, kinda. But if I let go, locked him in at 0 miles an hour because he's not moving. And then you can just aim at the ground and it will clear it out. So let's get this guy when he's going here. Alright, got him at 26, 27, 30. Now, you don't want to get the angle over 45 degrees because if you do that then you'll get an erroneous speed rating. So we'll see that here as he's coming by. You're not going to be able to capture him or give you some kind of goofy reading. Now as he goes back past, you see him at 28 miles an hour, let go, 27, and it's locked in. And you'll see the counter there that's telling you how long ago that speed reading was made. So go ahead and pull that back out. So then you can click your right and your left arrows on your keyboard. If you click right, you can go back and look at the events as you did them. So you see you got the date, the time, how fast they were going, and how far away from you they were. And you can go through quite a few events. So let's see, it's been a while since I used the LiDAR, back to September. Alright, so go ahead and put that guy away, and then you can go T/LiDAR records, and that will bring up this screen here. So what you have here is you got your record ID, the timestamp, date and the timestamp, the speed the vehicle was clocked at, how far away from you they were, the username. So the username, that's going to be your Discord name, and then the street that you were on, and then also over here, so we got a little map here, and this is more for like tracking speeders, and where, you know, that way we can determine where we need to concentrate our heat vehicles and patrol units, so we can get a better idea of, you know, where we're having issues with speeding. So also we'll look at this Mr. Gregory, and if you come over here to print, click on that. It's going to show where he was at when he clocked that vehicle. Gives you a readout here and the speed he was traveling, the distance from the operator of the LiDAR unit, and where he was at roughly. Then what you want to do is then you can just print screen, you can clip this and then put that in with your citation. Generally, from the time that you LiDAR the vehicle, it's going to take about anywhere from about 2 to 5 minutes for it to populate in this report here. So just be aware of that. Also, you can just, from your radar, having it pulled up, you can just take a screenshot of that as well and just use that for your report, because sometimes I don't know why, but they don't populate. But other than that, that's just a brief overview of the LiDAR, and you guys be safe out there.